No, that's wrong. Dixie Diamonds, 74. Dixie, Three Islands National Park, Cooktown, Metz, 4:22 p.m. Standing at a payphone at La Reine, Pilotre de Rosière was able to speak with Karen Clark via telephone as she sat with phone to ear in her Cooktown home 16,000 kilometers away. Additionally, Balloony's telepathic powers enabled Edward and Lizzie Borden, along with Ms. Molly Pie, to hear everything Karen heard and spoke. These five were able to communicate with one another as though they were all in the same room. But despite Balloony's telepathic link with Karen and friends, Dr. Rosière was deaf to anyone other than Karen via her phone call. "You are telling me," Rosière said hesitantly, "that the Reverend Bruncy created from my design has telepathic powers? That it speaks and thinks and feels? This is what you are saying?" "Absolutely," Karen replied. "I was completely shocked when I met Balloony this morning, but, well, he, along with the rest of us, think of him as your creation, so to speak. Balloony told us that Brent Bretzi created him from a design he stole from you, and that Bretzi tried to murder you on the 26th of January. Balloony said he and you communicated telepathically that night, and that you were aware of him. Is this significantly different than what you remember?" "No," Rosière said softly, "it is not. I think you're right. I thought my memories of hearing this, what do you call it, Balloony? I thought those memories were a result of my near-death experience, that my subconscious had created them. I had dismissed them as fantasy." "Karen!" Balloony exclaimed. "Karen, relinquish control of your voice to me. Let me speak for you for just a moment. Let me explain to him what he needs to know." "Relinquish control?" Karen asked without speaking, immediately adding, "All right, take control." "Oh, no, Doctor," Karen replied, mouthing the words that Balloony thought. "Not from what Balloony told us. He was with you telepathically as Brentsy attacked, and when contact was broken, he managed to escape from the cage where Brentsy had imprisoned him in order to go searching for you. Balloony could hear and see everything Brentsy was doing through Brentsy's own senses," Balloony, using Karen's voice, continued, "and seeing how truly horrible the man is and how great your need was." Balloony squeezed out of his cage and then squeezed beneath the locked door of his room. "He escaped for your sake, despite almost tearing himself apart in the process. He wanted to help you then, but he couldn't. And now he's trying to stay free of Brentsy, who was tracking him via a transmitter that made Balloony's escape so difficult when it prevented him from flattening himself small enough to immediately escape his cage. Balloony deserves freedom, and we must stop Brentsy. We must. If anyone knows how evil the man is, then surely it is you." "I see," Rosière said softly. "I see," he repeated in a stronger voice. "And you're telling me that Balloony is sentient, telepathic, and empathetic? This is marvelous. There must be some way for me to speak directly to him. I must do this as soon as possible. How is your typing? Can we teletype?" "Karen," Balloony asked, "may I make a suggestion?" "Of course," Karen replied aloud. "Oh," she added quickly, "excuse me, Dr. Rosière. I was speaking to Balloony when I said of course, when I should have used telepathy. He says he has an idea." "And what is the idea?" Rosière asked. "What is it, Balloony?" Karen repeated. "If Rosie and another human are on the phone together, then I could hear through you and speak through him," Balloony said, "assuming this other person was willing to let me take control of his speech. If he didn't want to relinquish control, then at least the other person could hear what I say telepathically and take notes, so Rosie could read them as we go. It's really the same idea as Rosie was making, but in reverse. If there was someone there speaking to him or typing up what I say, then things could proceed much faster and far smoother. Would you ask if that makes sense to him?" "Of course," Karen said to Balloony before saying aloud, "Doctor, do you have someone you trust implicitly who Balloony could either speak through telepathically or he could transcribe what he hears Balloony say, and then we could close the loop and communicate relatively well? Perhaps a secretary?" "My secretary," Rosière replied, voice filled with horror. No, that would be horrible. I can't use anyone on my staff as we're all under the same strictly top-secret security. But I do have a student who might work. Someone who I trust both literally and also ability-wise. Let me contact Joye Habinier and see if she is available. I will be back in touch." "Balloony," Rosière added, "thank you for trying to save me. I will try to do the same for you. I look forward to speaking with you all soon. Au revoir," he added as he disconnected.